Good morning. My name is Martin Blaney. I'm a journalist based in Berlin, and I'm reporting about activities in Germany and Eastern Europe. And I'm here to host this final panel at this year's Heart of Europe Co-Production Forum. The subject is From Project to Premiere, and I'm very happy to have some really excellent guests here. On my left is Dagmara and Michał, who both last night were one of the winners of the co-production forum this year in the feature film section. Next to them is Michał. Michał is specializing in distribution, financing, fundraising of documentary films for many years now. And opposite me, Triin from the Black Nights Film Festival in Tallinn. So they all have experience of following this journey from a project being pitched at a market all the way through to its premiere at a festival, whether it's a film festival, a television festival, and such. And be interesting to hear your experiences over the next 45 minutes. I'd just like to make a few comments myself beforehand, because I've been working in this field now of audiovisual here on the continent as a journalist for over 30 years, and it's been interesting to see how many film festivals themselves have, over the time, wanted to sharpen their profile by having industry programs, project markets, to attract not only cineasts who are wanting to see films, but also to introduce and invite professionals to discuss new projects, which possibly would then come to those festivals at a later stage. And often these project markets have been a way of boosting, kickstarting certain regions. This happened, I know, in Sarajevo when they then launched the CineLink market, and also in Romania with their festival, a Transylvania festival, where they have a pitch stop, and in Sofia, in Bulgaria with the Sofia meetings, and then in Tallinn with the Baltic event, which again a co-production market, and that is expanded not only to be for feature films, but also for television as well, and we'll hear from Triin about this. Also the media program in Brussels has also been very supportive of different initiatives in different sectors, whether it's feature film, fiction film, or documentary. And I'm sure Michał knows on his travels the various markets he's visited over these years, which are specifically for documentary, but also there are for animation as well, and even for genre film, which is something that Dagmara and Michał probably have experience of and know. So maybe I'll start first with Triin, because you can talk about how the importance of these project markets are for films to find their financing, and also to test the market as far as seeing if the market out there is interested in the project.
Absolutely. I think that the markets in general, in Tallinn, it started with Baltic event almost more than 20 years ago, and it was actually the reason why it started was to start to make Baltic films get more out there, to improve, to create co-production with different countries. So, and it's true that thanks to that, we've had a lot of success stories. And with what we saw was that we had to grow the market. So at one point, Baltic event became Industry at Tallinn and Baltic event. We became much more international. So our project market is the co-production market. We have script pool. We have the European Genre Forum, third round is in Tallinn. We have the works in progresses, and we have the series size, the co-financing market. And that is all to improve. And it's, for example, within script pool, we've especially done the fact that you have workshops and you get to test your project with the jury, with the decision makers, and we're happy to say we've had a great success story. One of them is 𝗂𝗵𝘁 that started in Tallinn, and of course it went to other markets also, and that's also super important for the project to gain as much feedback as possible. But it's also important not to lose the project itself in this constant feedback round.
Sure.
And we're really happy that we got to see it in the first stage when it was being developed. And then we got to see it in the works in progress phase. Then it went to Berlin competition. And now it's going to come back to the festival to be screened to the audience in Estonia.
That's right. So that's like a sort of a Tallinn baby, sort of, yes.
Exactly, yeah.
And for you, Michael, as also, you go to, say, a market at IDFA in Amsterdam, or there's the Neon Vision du Réel, which also has a project market, and then 𝗂𝗵𝗁 in Czech Republic. And so you're often being introduced to a project for the first time, and then it's a matter of probably you're tracking it, you're wanting to sort of follow it through, see its progress.
Yes, this process of following is fascinating and also very fruitful. And then you can continue to have the conversation with the creators, with the producers, and to give them some advices. And when I'm invited to those kind of events, I'm participating as a decision maker, sometimes around the table and giving feedback in front of the panel and in front of the pictures. And every interaction is important for the filmmakers and producers. So it happens in all different venues that you mentioned, all this training, also a lot of training. And
Yes.
I think that any interaction also with commissioning editors, TV buyers, and also the network of producers, so all this combined is very important, because if the creators and producer think that they can do the film that they want and think that then it goes straight to the premiere, it will not work, especially if it's debut film.
And naturally, it's also important that there is the follow-up on the producer's side, because this is, I mean, now we have the technology with internet, and it should be much easier to have that communication happening. But sometimes people meet at an event, a co-production event, festival, and have great conversations, and then one doesn't hear anything. Have you had that experience, or has it always been a good sort of that you get when you say, I'm really interested in this project, please send me some more material, and then you don't hear anything, or has that not happened to you?
I mean, I think that with the experience of more than 20 years, I can see quite quickly what is the potential of a project, especially with documentaries, that the majority of my catalog is documentaries.
Yes.
You can see from the synopsis, title, and you don't need 50 pages to know what is the potential, like versus fiction films that is more complicated.
Yes.
And especially if it's independent production. So then the project can improve along the way. And as you mentioned, the Zoom period that started with the Corona, so then people realize that, okay, you can have the information and have a dialogue by remote, but then the real meeting, as we have here, with the different partners, especially if there are some people from different channels here, it's also representative, so also some producer, but all the events that I attend, there are so many synergies that are important.
That's true. And I mean, some projects, we were just talking about this, and I know Triin yesterday, that there is also a slight danger of what we call, what I call pitch tourism, that projects go from one market to the next. And yes, it could lead then to a producer or director having so much information that their heads start spinning because they don't know, which information is really going to help them for that project. And also, there are only a certain number of people who can be invited to these project markets. So they're in the audience. So if, say, somebody is here now in Warsaw, and then the project is pitched, say, at the Berlinale next year in a pitching event, and it's the same material that they show, the same footage, say, then I think one has to think. You can't just show the same material at each pitch. You should make it tailor-made, let's say, for the next event, rather than just showing the same material. Is that a fair thing to say, do you think? Or?
I agree with you, but I think that sometimes you have the chance to get an award. You never know in advance who you'll meet. So, of course, it's important to show that the project is changing, that you're improving the trailer, you're getting confidence. But if there is no such a confusion, as you mentioned, that the pitching can be confused, the pitching team can be confused by the reactions.
Yes.
But then also, I think it's like advertising. So you need people to remember your project, and oh, I know this project, and then it has an advantage. So of course there is a limit for this tourism.
That's true. Yes.
And also the teams are not always fully invited, so it's also a question of cost.
Sure, that's right. I mean, I know in my function as a trade journalist, naturally maybe when I report about these markets and which projects were presented, which won awards, I'm helping, I hope, in a way to create a bit of a buzz for the project. People who haven't gone to those events, they read the articles and then are then aware of the title and of, aha, this is something perhaps I should look into. So maybe that's my little contribution to this. But I now turn to Dagmara and Michał. Your specialization so far has been genre films. Have you found such events, project markets of use? And are there ones, we heard of the European Genre Forum. Was this something that you have benefited from and that you've aimed to use as a way of creating, again, attention to your project and yourselves, really, as people who are wanting to work in this field?
Yes, especially that we did first project, our first genre film, not knowing anything about how the film industry works, and then with the second one we got more knowledge. With third one we got even more knowledge, so we know what's the difference. What difference can you make by using a strategy with your movie? Even
on a very early stage, also.
Yes, from the idea itself. Yes.
Yeah.
So, we find useful going to the festivals and to try to use these programs, pitches programs. Even if sometimes this project doesn't get funds, you are able to make some new connections and new. To expand your network, so that you never know what will happen in next years. So
yes, we participated, for example, in European Genre Forum in Tallinn a couple of years ago, and it was so helpful and inspiring on many levels, because it's not only the pitch itself and the promotion itself for the project and yourselves, but also in this particular program there was a whole training being done on our particular project, how to pitch it, what are the strong bullet points to point out in only 5 minutes you have on stage. Because of course if you have the idea or the script of a feature film or the series, you could speak about it for hours and still not tell the whole story. So those trainings we had in Tallinn were so it was a game changer for us as creators to master this knowledge, how to present briefly the project in a way understandable and relatable for the audience who has no idea about what you have in mind.
We are aware that people we want to reach hear about even thousands of projects, so we have to be really specific on what we what we can present and what we have in offer.
Yeah, so to sum up, I think the promotion from the very early stage of the project is crucial on those events. The training and the knowledge you can gain from the people, decision makers, and people who are in the industry for many years and share their experience and expertise. This is absolutely priceless. And as Miki said, the connections, the people connections that may or may not result in funding the project itself, but you never know how it will evolve and at which point it will begin to give fruits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Film is a teamwork, and you never know when you will find somebody to join your team. Yeah.
Exactly.
This is true, yes, that it could be that you have, like, not this project you presented here, but the one after, or the one after that, where you say, yes, we met in Warsaw.
Exactly.
And we were in the Łosteria, and we sat and chatted over the pizza, and we decided we are on the same wavelength. And okay, the person couldn't be involved in this project, but we've made the contact, and I think that is also very important of these events. That I mean, to say that, I know it's a cliche to say it's a people's business, but it is very much so. And not only that, but as with, say, the European Genre Forum or 𝗂𝗵𝗁𝗁 in Connecting 𝗃𝗄𝗄𝗆, they have a very clear profile of then the people who are attending it as potential partners are specifically, say, interested in genre films, or in 𝗃𝗄𝗆, the people who are invited there are really genuinely interested as either they're potential co-producers, sales agents, or commissioning editors who are interested in films from Eastern Europe. Whereas, say, Cannes or Berlin, it's. Would you agree with Triin? I'm promoting your event here, of course. But,
thanks for that. No, but it's true. You have to know your market. You have to know the different events where you go and present it. Or, I mean, going to Cannes as a first-time filmmaker is more about go there to enjoy the scenery, but you will probably not meet anyone important at that moment. You have to know who's your audience. If you are doing genre, then you have to check what are the genre markets going on, the festivals. Do these festivals have markets where you can find the potential partners? And these events, curated events, are very, very important. We select these decision makers who we invite for the festival, and one of the ideas that if we are inviting them, then they will contact and meet with the projects and give that feedback, so the projects could improve themselves.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. I mean, and also these decision makers, experts, you have selected because they are going to be generous with their expertise and their knowledge. They're not just coming to say, I'm Mr. Big Shot or Mrs. Big Shot, and you are privileged to have me be in my presence. No, they are people who are evidently keen to support the next generation of filmmakers, producers, and such, which I think is.
And we get at one point this kind of like. This skewed cooperation with those decision makers, because they also have a trust in our festival, because they've found filmmakers, they've discovered someone, and those filmmakers finally have brought success to them. So it's kind of like
it works in both ways.
Washing each other's hands,
Indeed, yes, that's right. I mean, Michael, I suppose for you again, it's a way. There's so many films, so many people out there wanting to make films. So again, for you, it's a sort of talent scouting and seeing people that you could hopefully acquire their films or get on board at either treatment stage or later, and have that working relationship being built up.
Yeah, what is nice is every title that I add to my catalog is from different stages, and sometimes I don't meet with the filmmakers. I just receive an email, watch the rough cut version or final cut, and that's the beauty and also the experience. And I think that it's good to have this different interaction in real life and also by remote. And what is interesting in the different events that I attend, that some of them have different models.
Yes.
So some of them have round table, like in 𝗃𝗃𝗿𝗄, and you don't have the pitch.
Yes.
Because there is some critic about the pitching that is a show, and it worked, let's say, more than 10 years ago. It was, in 𝗃𝗃𝗿, it was a big show, but then commissioning editors could contribute and really help financing. But now, today, it's so hard to get financing. So there is a need to create more opportunities and more segmented. And Heart of Europe Film Festival and Forum, it's an opportunity because it deals on a specific region. So
Yes,
also for me and also for the other side, for those who have the project. So
Yes,
it's
yes, yeah, Dagmara, you wanted to say something?
Me?
No?
Actually, there are not only like pitching programs, but also work in progress sections are very helpful. We had an opportunity to participate in when East meets West work in progress section program with our movie, which was semi-improvised road movie. So it was very important how to edit the material in order to make it the most, the richest and the most relatable, and with the most festival also potential. And we had great experts who really gave us their whole knowledge and attention and feedback. They were so, into watching the material, into giving us the guidance. And I must say, we changed quite a lot in the final cut.
We also found out that there is this stage that you have to remember that it's not about listening to everybody, that at the end of the day you have to...
Not to lose yourself, as we spoke, not to
because
lose the soul of the...
Everybody has its own taste, so when you try to please everybody, you get nothing.
you then get nothing, that's true. But also, thanks to this program, we found a sales agent for this movie. So it also happens sometimes when the connection you make during this process really results in a cooperation.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's true what you've said. I mean, we have, say, like the project market here and some of the others I mentioned, that initially it's looking for co-production financing, whether it's public funds or the co-producers. Okay, they will have to access funding from their respective countries. They'll have to go to their funds and to become a partner of that project which is being pitched, and then then hopefully then the film then goes into production, has been shot, and then you have this stage then of the works in progress, which has now also been developed at many of the project markets, where there's also a competition, and then the projects could possibly get support for post-production services, where it's sound, mixing, or visual effects and such. And also, I know in some places, including which you mentioned in Trieste, is then the rough cut, sort of like a rough cut workshop, where they have like an editor and somebody else who might be a sales agent who sits and looks at the film and then again gives their opinions. Whereas the works in progress, they're usually, from my experience, there are sales agents and, say, festival programmers who are watching these works in progress. But that's something that you've developed in Tallinn as well, works in progress, both for the region but also international. So you have theoretically films coming from the whole world.
The whole world,
Whole world to Tallinn in November. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that was the case that at one point we started locally, but then as the festival grew and as our relationship with filmmakers grew also, it just made sense to create the section for the international works in progress. And today we also have the Children and Youth Film Festival works in progress. So we do really get everything covered in Tallinn. So it's worth the trip.
That's right. But on the TV side, that's not something that you would expand in?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
Yes, with Tallinn, it's always
You'll never know.
watch this space, yes?
Yeah, yeah. So
That's
I
true.
think we're also moving toward that side also within the series to create these moments of rough cut or first episode showing, but that's more in the future, and let's see where we go.
Yes, yes. No, I mean, for me as a journalist, either they say the organizers of the markets that press are not invited when it's either as work in progress, or if it's a completed film which would perhaps be going to a festival soon. I don't myself like to go to works in progress because I think, well, I'm not a reviewer, so I wouldn't be. I would prefer to see the completed film, but so I tend to sort of avoid the works in progress sections and just keep to the project side or the completed films. But for you, Michael, as well, works in progress, is that then the next stage, which can also be somewhere where you say, oh yes, after having, on the basis of that material, yes, we would like to commit now as a sales agent to this film?
Yeah, I think that work in progress is great, but you don't see the final film. So it's just, as I mentioned, the word advertising. So it's also a kind of promotion. So you have a glimpse. You see something that's so more than the teaser, but it's a small window, but it's very important to have. So there are a lot of events like Rough Cut Boutique and 𝗃𝗃𝗿𝗃. So, for example, at 𝗃𝗃𝗏 there will be a 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗏 presentation of 8 projects. So it's a really opportunity, and then you can have also meetings. So it's not only the show with the presentation, but then it gives you also an idea who is behind the project again, and then it creates another opportunity to establish this ongoing relationship. And I think it's important because it didn't exist. So you will have the pitch when the project was in early stage or just a beginning of the production, but then you can really, the last station before the film is ending, and another chance to do some co-production and also to present also the rough cut then to the commissioning editors, TV buyers. Very important.
Yes. Now, I suppose with the works in progress, if it's like a sort of an hour of 5 or 6 extracts, then naturally the producers are going to pick the best bits, aren't they? So that may not give you the... But whereas you have a rough cut, in those rough cut sort of scenarios, showcases, then of course... But then it's going to be a much smaller audience that is going to be invited to attend such an event.
It's not always open for the public.
No. That's right. It's because it's more of like a workshop and a much more sort of intense dialogue between somebody who, say, as I say, an editor and then sales agent or another sort of consultant on the production side.
Also in Leipzig there is Dog Preview Germany. So all these opportunities to have also tutor and to improve the material. It's amazing to see how it looks after this training.
Yeah.
And after having gone through all these series aspects, and then you were in, as you said, Trieste, how about the actual premiere? How did you get to have your films then shown at festivals? How did you go through a sales agent who then developed a festival strategy? and or did you do it yourself? You sort of filled in forms and sent them off to the festivals, because that's something which again is always interesting to know how people get their films selected for festivals.
So with the first movie we made, as Miki mentioned,
There was no strategy at all.
there was no strategy at all. We had no idea how this festival world works. So we would just we were just randomly sending submissions. We're spending a lot of money through the platform Film Freeway, and we were just sending, and we were getting so many rejections. And back then, it was almost 10 years ago. We thought, oh my God, this film isn't good because it gets so many rejections, which then we realized isn't entirely true, because we didn't.
It's like with castings, you know, each festivals can have their own like agendas and you know,
programs and focus on certain genre or non-genre and stuff, and we didn't do the proper research. We were just doing everything. So that was a lesson also.
But we learned for the second movie just to between first and second, we traveled through festivals a bit, so we got this some kind of knowledge how it works, and there is a strategy that you have. The best for you is to have a nice world premiere in your country, European premiere, and you have this own like a hierarchy of premieres that you can set your goal to have. So we tried this.
Yes, yes. So with the second one, with the day I found a girl in the trash, it was easier and easier in the sense that we had more knowledge how it works. Also, Karolina helped us a lot with sending off the submissions, and we had a lot of talks in terms of strategy, where to send, where not to send, and in what order. So yes, so then we managed to have the world premiere in the Warsaw International Film Festival. Then the Rain Dance, which is quite important and nice especially for the independent genre young cinema.
Yes.
And then it was the CineQuest Film Festival, where we managed to win the award. So the strategy really pays off. I think we still have a lot of things to learn.
And this, I think, it also the thing is that it evolves all the time, like everything. So whenever you learn something, it's in a different place already. So.
Yes, and sometimes we had this situation with the girl in the trash. We got the confirmation, the invitation from Rain Dance, but we really dreamed about Tallinn, but we didn't have the confirmation yet. But we had to make quick decision with the Rain Dance. And we decided to just stick with what we have confirmed, not to risk not having anything. So yeah, and we made a good choice because we didn't get into Tallinn anyway. So it was good that we stick to the Rain Dance chance. So it's like gambling sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. But I think also you'll find, especially something like genre films, that the festival programmers, they're traveling around, they invite each other to their different festivals. So say there's Stepan from Zagreb, he'll be coming to Tallinn, and then the people from Sitges and Brussels, they're all they all know each other, and I mean certainly this is the case. Say with LGBT. They all come to Berlin, the programmers do, from internationally, and they're going to see the Panorama films mainly. That's where the focus is. And so they all know each other. Then they're invited to be in the jury for the Teddy Award in Berlin. And as I say, there's that community. They all know each other. And so, again, they'll be no doubt going in to see this latest film, which is in Panorama, and then they discuss it, and so again say, oh, I recommend you have that film. There is probably not so much competition. You know, they're just happy for these films to travel around on that circuit. And I imagine, I'm not an expert on that particular field, but the genre again, you know, Brussels, I mean, there's a certain pride, of course, of every festival to have the world premiere of a film, you know. But, you know, it's not like people from Sitges are traveling away up to Brussels to see the genre festival, you know. So the Sitges festival organizers can happily then show films probably which have been at another genre festival, and or vice versa.
Yeah.
So again, festival programmers, they're not just sitting in their office waiting for
the submissions.
And I think what's also important, for example, for our festival is that the programmers, we have the international programmers are programmers that work for other festivals. So a lot of programmers work for different festivals. So Rain Dance programmer is one of from the selection committee for the first feature competition. So
Okay.
Okay.
So
everybody is connected.
new information you learn.
Yeah.
And Michael, for documentaries as well, festival strategy, you would say, is also important. If you've now come on board a film and it hasn't yet sort of got to that point of festival premiere, then you would be advising on which would be the best festival. From your experiences, you'll be able to bring that to the table for the producer.
Definitely, building a strategy is very important, and the connection. So JMT Films is giving for several years a festival service. So it's not only building strategy, it's also helping to get the film to film festivals, and also doing it in a clever way, and also reducing the expectations of filmmakers sometimes, that they are sure that they will be in the A-list festival, and sometimes they have to understand that after some rejection. And also my attitude is to submit in parallel to A-list film festivals, and also to try with other, the second league, because, you know, it's like sports. So you want to be in the best film festivals. And also, as you mentioned, that it's a lot of cost when you're submitting through Film Freeway. But as sales agent, we have the connection, and also we can have sometimes waiver codes, and also the connection is very important. So if we know some programmers, we can have the dialogue, because also they don't have always the programmer the patience to give a feedback if the film is in the shortlisting, because it really can take months and months until the filmmaker will know if the film is selected.
Yes.
And then there are some film festivals with industry, and where you can think of, let's say, Toronto Film Festival or Sundance, but then it changed. In the recent years, in Sundance, you cannot make contracts and get deals. So festivals are promising, but not always the biggest festival or the place where you will get the possibility to have the film acquired or find a distributor for the cinema.
Yeah, that's right, because that is naturally another reason that one goes to a festival, that one hopes then either one has a distribution of that particular country already in place, and naturally they're using it as a promotion, that they can have their journalists and interview you, and that prepare then for the theatrical release, or it's a way for the sales agent then to, you know, meet the sales agents who are at that festival, and the distributors rather, to say, see my film, and let's sit down and make a deal. Yeah, that's right.
Definitely.
Now, your films, are they independently produced, or do you have Polish Film Institute involved on board?
Every film we did was totally differently financed. First was a fully private investment
from France.
Second one was public funds
with the micro-budget program from the Polish Film Institute.
Yes, yes. I mean, now you're a little bit further along, so you have a sort of an idea of how it works, like also with the festivals. But I was wondering, there is an international department of Polish Film Institute where they must have some sort of expertise and they can at least give you advice. They can't necessarily help you submit the film to a festival, but they can perhaps give some sort of
advice.
Advice, yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, we had some conversations, like just feedback conversation with the team from the Polish Film Institute responsible for international festivals, and they were also giving us some, tips. And after watching the movie with us, they said, "Look, I think this film could suit to rain dance or this or that." So, yeah, we were like sponges, taking all the feedbacks we could get from people who know how it works.
That's right. Well, that's good to know. Well, this has been very interesting discussion because I think, as I say, it shows that there is life after pitching here in Warsaw or wherever you might have pitched. That it's it could be a long journey. It doesn't always go as quickly as you expected, but there are people and places that can help you on your way and then bring you from the project to the premiere. And I think that's something one can take from both this discussion and also from the event we've had now over the last 3 days.
Yes.
So thank you very much for your contributions, and thank you to the audience for their attention as well.
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.